tolerant, they'll sit there, they'll let you do your thing. If you're not looking after the sheep, or the sheep's just having a bad day, they'll kick and struggle and make life difficult. Shearers do often cut their sheep. I will try my very best not to, but I may nick him here, and that's just sort of what happens. Usually it looks bad because you have beautiful white wool with a little bit of red, but generally it's no worse than sort of a shaving cut. So gravity is your friend. You want that fleece to just peel away from the sheep's side with every snip. This guy's a big sheep. You can see, that beautiful white internal wool. He's saying.
Now, this time of year, when he's done, he's still okay for the winter?
He's still okay. I'm leaving a good amount on there. Like and the other thing, because we do keep some of these sheep aside, sometimes it's deliberate for our visitors, sometimes it's just because Meg's having a bad day. We also keep them in a good sheltered field with extra feed. So as long as, often the way with sheep is, as long as they've got a full tummy, that's the most important thing. It's that digestion which really keeps them warm. So the wool is there to insulate, but they need to be generating that heat internally. He's been very good, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he's not drugged, he's not hypnotized. He's just been a good sheep.
His name is Sean, isn't it?
Sure.
Has he been through this before? He's been through this before, right?
He's been through this before, but I mean, it's funny that you can do this with a hogget who's a 1-year-old sheep who's never been through it before, and generally they'll behave the same way. So it's not a learned behaviour. It's just that's what sheep do. So we come around here. I've got to get just over his backbone. He's got a fantastically dense fleece, this guy.
So do you wash the wool here? Do you clean it, or do you have a?
We don't do anything here. So we do we do some initial prep, which I'll run through once we shear this sheep. But most of the processing happens off-site. So we sell what's called greasy wool.
You sell it in the grease, okay.
Raw wool.
Yeah.
All right, fella, try not to make this take too long.
He's like, I want the professional.
You didn't want the 2-minute job.
You're okay, fella. He said I would have opted for one of the professionals.
Right.
You do, yeah. I mean,
I don't think it's probably.
and this is exactly how a shearer shears. They're leant over all day long. Sometimes you can see there's cords hanging from the roof. Some of them will have a little sort of bungee cord and a harness that sits around their sort of midriff to give you a little bit more support. But my excuse for why I'm not dreaming of becoming a professional shearer is because I'm possibly a little bit too tall. That's my story anyway. And I would say they're not young men typically, so the average age of our shearers would be probably in their mid to late 50s. I'm not saying that's old.
Unreal. That's my age. I couldn't bend over and do that.
Yeah, exactly. It's perhaps going to be a challenge for the industry. So those guys will
young people
retire
don't want to do
eventually.
that.
There are only 30 or 40 professional blade shearers in all of New Zealand, so it is sort of a subspecialty within shearing more widely. Up until this point, sheep numbers have been sort of on the decline, so that's perhaps matched as the older fellas have exited the profession. But yeah, I mean, in 10 years' time, there may be a challenge there. I might have an app that shears sheep by then. So we've got a half-shorn sheep there. And if you look at that, you know, it's quite a contrast, the sort of before
Yeah.
and after. We've now got to stand him up and work down this other side. Generally, the sheep would stay put and the shearer would move, but I'm just going to awkwardly rearrange him so that you don't have to look at my sort of rear end. So that fleece, the idea you want it to always stay together. We're now going to continue down this flank. I was saying that merinos have wrinkly necks, and that's it's a really important part of the sheep to get to do well. We want to go in and out of those wrinkles and not sort of through them. What's the vessel?
Carotid.
You got it.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Go around that one.
Mutton for dinner.
And again, you can see it's, you know, using gravity, getting the wool will just fall away, pulling out, stretching out that skin to avoid any wrinkles.
So do the ones who do the, with the power shearing, do they shear later?
They will. Depends where in the country you are. If you're a more mild sort of coastal location, you don't have to worry about snow. It's also about your property, so if you think you can feed them well and you can give them extra good shelter, you might opt to machine shear.
How much snow do you guys get a year on average?
We probably, I mean, it varies obviously, but I'd say sort of 6 or 8 snowfalls starting from May through till maybe early September. Often it's just an inch or 2, but you can get a lot. I mean, you might get one fall of winter, which is a foot or so. Most I've seen is about 3 feet. 3 feet of snow sat around for a month, but generally it would be gone within a week or something like that. The beauty, I guess, of being a small sort of island surrounded by relatively moderate ocean is that we don't get those extremes. So we don't get the real sort of continental freeze that Europe or North America have to contend with. I mean, that's why all our animals always live outside. These guys only ever come inside for sort of 5 minutes once a year at shearing time.
Do you lamb outside?
Do we what, sorry?
Do you lamb outside?
We lamb outside, yep. So we'll put our pregnant ewes in the most sheltered, best fed pastures, but they're off doing it on their own. So we don't sort of, it's not say the British model where you might bring the sheep in at night time, sit up all night, help them lamb. With 2,500 births, you know, it's not practical. We'll do a bit of a drive around every day just to make sure there's no one having sort of obvious difficulties. But you know, it's, I guess, easy natural birth is what we're selecting for. Sheep that look after themselves as much as possible. Okay, Bella, you're going well. We're very almost there.
You need an assistant.
What's that, sorry?
You need an assistant.
Ah, no, the thing with sheep shearing is you want everyone to keep their distance because
If it startles them.
if the sheep startles, you know,
Yeah.
these are
Yeah.
really nasty. And,
Yeah.
you know, if I cut myself, I can't really blame anyone. But it is, yeah, it's like anything, I guess. I'm a reasonable shearer, but when you see these guys who are shearing, you know, have shorn thousands and thousands of sheep every year, they do make it look easy. It's just that this guy's actually, he's almost too dopey.
Like he's asleep.
He keeps sort of going to sleep and falling over.
Enjoying his
whereas
haircut.
He's sort of one of the sheep that will at least support his own weight, so you're not
Right.
the sheep up at the same time as.
Looks like he's hugging you.
125
How much does this sheep weigh?
He's probably 100 pounds.
100 is how much? 100?
Yeah, probably a lot more.
Yeah, it depends before or after you cut them.
Yeah, before or after. There's probably 12 pounds of wool on this sheep. Okay.
Michael, do you sell it by the pound?
We do, yeah. Well, by the kilo, because we're much more civilized
And
and
do they grade it? They grade the wool?
the grading, it's really important, you know. Merino wool is not all created equal. So we'll just tie up that last little piece here.
It's funny how fast he times.
Oh, right.
What is this long sweater? You buy a merino wool suit.
So who buys the better wool, icebreaker or smart wool?
Wow,
I
there you
see
go.
two bins over there.
Yeah. The thing is, icebreaker is now smart wool.
Oh, they're together.
Oh,
They,
look at that.
Just merged. So this guy's done really well.
Mm-hmm.
Give him a treat.
That fleece has all come off.
Wow.
And if we sort of look at our motley old sheep, this is where you say, Michael, you missed a bit. But that's deliberate. So we do main shearing in the springtime typically. Just prior to winter, we do a really glamorous job called crutching. So that's when you clean up the sheep's rear end, their belly, their legs and their face. That just means before the mud and the wet of winter, they're nice and tidy on the sort of underside. He looks like a different creature, doesn't he?
Yes, he
Yeah.
Come on over, have a feel of that freshly shorn side there. Feel the lamella.